Lions Nation, things are heating up in Detroit. With the trade deadline just around the corner, the Lions are making bold moves to strengthen their roster. And the latest rumor is huge. Word on the street is that the Lions are eyeing Arizona Cardinals star safety Budda Baker, a six-time Pro Bowler and one of the league's elite defenders. If you're as excited as I am about the possibility of Budda Baker coming to Detroit, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you like the content, be part of our community by subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications. Could this be the missing piece to elevate Detroit's defense even further? Let's dive into this exciting possibility. Heading into the 2024 season, Detroit's safety situation looked promising with Kerby Joseph and Brian Branch expected to play key roles after their recoveries from off-season surgeries. Though there was optimism, concerns remained, especially about depth. Ifeatu Melifon's durability has been a question mark, and the Lions needed more stability in the secondary. Brian Branch, while talented, has had some health setbacks, including missing games due to illness and a concussion. This instability has left the door open for a major addition, enter Budda Baker. Now, Budda Baker isn't just any safety. His versatility allows him to dominate both in the box and in coverage, making him a perfect target for a team ready to compete at the highest level. In 2023, despite limited games, he racked up 39 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a pass breakup. According to Pro Football Focus, Baker ranks as the 16th best safety, with impressive run defense grade of 78.0, solidifying his spot as one of the NFL's best. Imagine Baker joining forces with Joseph and Branch in Detroit. The impact would be immediate, giving defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn incredible flexibility with a defense that has been fighting through injuries. Baker's leadership and experience would stabilize the secondary and help the Lions stay competitive in critical moments, like deep playoff runs where every defensive stop counts. Rumors about Baker heading to the Lions have been swirling for a while, and sources like Bleacher Report have even linked him to Detroit. With Arizona struggling and sitting at 1-3, they might be in sell mode, making Baker a prime trade candidate. Plus, with his contract situation and the Lions' clear desire to contend for the division title, this move makes even more sense. What would it take to land Baker? It might cost the Lions a second-round pick or a third-rounder with extra compensation, but it could be worth every bit of it. As we look closer at what Budda Baker could bring to the Lions, it's hard not to get excited. He's the type of player who fits perfectly into the culture that head coach Dan Campbell is building, a relentless competitor who gives his all on every down. Baker's physicality and intensity would set the tone for Detroit's defense, bringing that hard-hitting mentality Lions fans love to see. This move could elevate the team's defensive performance in critical matchups, especially as we push deeper into the season and eye a deep playoff run. One of the biggest advantages Baker brings is his versatility. Whether it's dropping back in coverage, stepping up to stop the run, or making game-changing plays in the open field, Baker does it all. He's the kind of safety who makes offensive coordinators rethink their strategy because they never know where he'll be or what he'll disrupt. His football IQ and ability to read plays would be a huge asset for the Lions, especially when paired with young talents like Kerby Joseph and Brian Branch. But let's not forget the leadership Baker would provide. With the secondary facing some instability, his veteran presence could help calm the storm. Injuries have plagued the Lions' defensive backs, and bringing in a proven leader like Budda would not only shore up the defense but also help mentor younger players, accelerating their development. As the trade deadline looms, this might be the perfect time for the Lions to pull the trigger. Arizona looks like they could be sellers, and Detroit, sitting in a prime position to make a playoff push, might want to seize this opportunity to bolster the defense. Adding a player of Baker's caliber could be the difference between just making the playoffs and going on a serious run. Now, we all know that trade negotiations can get tricky. With Baker entering the final year of his contract, the Lions would need to weigh the costs carefully. Is a second-round pick too steep? Would a third-rounder and some additional compensation get the deal done? These are the questions the front office will have to answer, but for fans, the prospect of adding a game-changer like Budda Baker is thrilling. So, Lions fans, let's keep the conversation going. Do you think Baker is the final piece to a championship-caliber defense? How would you feel about giving up a draft pick to get him? And if not Baker, what other moves should the Lions consider as the trade deadline approaches? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and remember, the best comment gets pinned. As a Lions fan, I have to admit that the possibility of bringing Budda Baker to Detroit is really exciting. We're talking about a player who not only has talent to spare, but also brings that fierce mentality that fits perfectly with what Dan Campbell is building. Buda is a true game changer, in the most literal sense of the word. He is the type of player who appears in the most critical moments and could be the missing piece to take our defense to the next level. With our secondary dealing with some uncertainties, such as Branch's injuries and depth issues, Baker would bring immediate stability. And that's not all. His leadership and experience will be fundamental in guiding younger players like Kirby Joseph, helping to accelerate the development of this defensive core that already has a lot of potential. Sure, giving away a high draft pick always raises questions, but if we're truly aiming for a deep playoff run, it's worth the risk. A player of Baker's caliber can be the difference in tight games, where defensive play changes everything. And with the NFC North tighter than ever, having a solid defense could be the key to taking the division title and making some noise in the postseason. If the board can close this deal without compromising the future of the team too much, I think we should go with everything. Baker would not only improve our squad, but he would also bring that energy that can inspire the entire team. For me, this is the time to be aggressive and show that we are here to fight for the top of the league. And you, Lions fan, what do you think?